up everyone, it's Linda and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be trying to turn my Impala roller skate into a Vans custom roller skate. Now I originally saw this idea from Miss Spin Gabby on Instagram. I will leave her original post linked in the description. Basically her Impala skate fell apart completely. It wasn't usable anymore. So she decided to take apart the skate and she decided to put the plate and everything else on a custom pair of Vans, and so that's what I'm going to be trying to do today. This could go two ways, and one is I'll come out with a pair of really cool Vans custom skates, or I could potentially ruin a pair of Vans and have no use for them after this. Before we get started, I just wanted to say if you are under the age of 18 to not do this at home. If you need any assistance in using power tools or anything like that, to ask an adult for help. I'm a little nervous because I don't want to ruin a perfectly good pair of Vans, and I've also never used a power drill before. Before you ask this question in the comments, yes, I still do have a little bit of double vision, but it's getting a little better, so we're gonna make things work today. I read a lot of blogs and I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials on how people made their own custom Vans skates, so I'm kind of putting all of those ideas together. I'll link all of my resources and all of the things that I purchased in the description below for you to reference in case you need any of it. And without further ado, let's just get started. So the first thing I gotta do is take everything off of these skates. The first thing I wanted to say is that this video is not a tutorial video, it's more of a documentation of me struggling to learn how to make these custom skates. Take any potential advice I give with a grain of salt and get some help from someone that actually knows what they're doing. I started by taking the wheels off of the axles and then proceeded to take off the trucks. I would highly recommend getting familiar with the parts of your skates before you decide to take anything apart. You don't technically need to take apart the trucks from the plate in order to get these off of your boot, but I decided to take them off because I wanted to clean the cushions before I reassembled these skates onto a clean pair of shoes. One tip I will give you is that when you're taking apart your trucks, to be sure to remember the order they go in. I took a picture of mine before I unassembled them to make sure that I put them back together correctly. After I took off the trucks, I unlaced the laces so it would be easier to take the screws off the plates from the inside of the boot. I took the insole out of the skates and then took off the nuts that were holding the plates onto the boot. I'm not too familiar with how to properly use hardware tools, so please don't come for me if I'm doing anything wrong. After I unscrewed the nuts, I pulled the screws out of the boot and I was pretty much finished with unassembling the parts. Okay, so quick update. I took apart both of the skates, so these are just boots now. It looks so weird as just shoes, but I took apart these two pieces right here. These two pieces are the screws that hold the plate to the shoe, and I think these screws are actually welded to this piece right here. So this piece right here is the one that was attached to the front of the boot, and this longer one is the piece that was attached to the back of the boot. And the reason why it's longer is because it had to go through the heel of the boot. You know, because this is thicker, it had to go through this part in order to attach to the plate, and I need shorter screws in order to attach these to the Vans. Because I can't take this metal piece off of the screws, or I don't know how to figure it out, it's honestly too much work and out of my skill level to figure out how to take these apart, so don't judge me for that. I'm gonna be putting these little pieces that I got from an Etsy shop in the bottom of the Van, so I'm gonna put this on the inside. Basically, I'm going to Home Depot to grab this screw. So basically, I'm just going to drill a hole through this. I'm going to drill a hole through the Van shoe, and then with those screws that I'm going to go buy right now, I'm going to be able to attach the plate to the shoe, and hopefully I get the right size because I don't want to take 2 trips to Home Depot. So this is basically where I'm at right now, and I'll keep you guys updated. So after I took apart the Impala skates, I lined the plate up in the center of my shoe. Once I figured out where I wanted the plate, I took a Sharpie and drew dots of where I needed to drill a hole through the shoe. Now, I didn't expect this part to be this hard, but I had quite a bit of trouble trying to take out the insole out of these Vans. Oh my god! No! I popped my nail off trying to take this out. Oh! I did it! Oh my gosh! That took forever! So the next thing to do was to put these aluminum insoles inside the shoe. These insoles are what probably gave me the most trouble out of this entire building process. I bought a pre-cut insole from an Etsy website and contacted the seller before I made my purchase to confirm that I should order true to size. But because I ordered true to size, I had the absolute hardest time trying to fit the insole in the shoe. I would even argue that the insole I received was a bit too big to fit in my shoe. If you plan on doing this on your own, I would suggest you either cut your own aluminum insoles or size down if you plan to use the Etsy retailer that I purchased from. You'll see later on in the video why this gave me so many more issues. I think I did it. Oh my god, please don't rip my shoe apart. God, it's stuck. If you're ordering from this Etsy website, I would recommend sizing down one size. Just a tip for you guys. Okay, so this is the part where I highly advise you to ask someone for help and to be careful when using any power tools. I don't know why I didn't think to just look up how to figure out what size drill bit to use before I started drilling into things, but I kind of just went along with whatever my sister was telling me to do. So remember, don't do what I did, learn from my mistakes, and ask for help and do your research. It was a little difficult to drill perfectly into the sole of the Vans shoe because of the waffle-like pattern it has on the bottom, but I did the best I could to drill the holes where I needed to. I drilled the hole through the shoe and into the aluminum insole in order to mark where I needed to drill them as well. So I used a smaller drill bit to drill a hole into the aluminum insole. My sister told me to put all of my weight on it, and that's the part where in hindsight I really regret doing. So here's your 1000th reminder to just think things through and don't do what I did. Oh my god! I broke the drill. I've never seen this happen before. I'm stupid. Okay, don't try this at home like I said. So after that incident and after doing some research, I picked the correct size drill bit to use and drilled through the aluminum insoles perfectly fine. This is my first time drilling anything, and of course, the first thing I decided to attempt to drill was through shoes and metal. Before y'all come for me, remember, this is my first time using a drill. Like I said, don't try this at home. So now it's time to assemble. So I don't know if you can tell from the lighting, but it's getting dark now. I have been at this for hours because I just can't figure things out. I'm learning everything the hard way, so whoever that's watching this that is inspired to try this too does not have to go through this. I went to Home Depot and got screws that I thought were supposed to be longer and would fit through the shoe enough and, you know, would be long enough to reach the plate. I found out that the 3/4 inch screw was actually too short. Went back to Home Depot and got the 1.5 inch screws. And also, if you plan on purchasing the metal or aluminum support plate thing that I'm linking in the description below, I really do suggest going down a size because the shoe itself is a size 8 in men's, 9.5 in women's, and that's the size I ordered from Etsy for the aluminum plate, and it's too big. So I would recommend definitely sizing down if you want the metal piece to lay completely flat inside the shoe. So now I think we have all the correct pieces. We're going to assemble the shoes together. I've been at this for like 4 hours now, and if I knew what I was doing, this probably wouldn't have taken me this long, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just learning as I go, so let's just continue on and fingers crossed that we're almost done with this project. After a couple of hours, I finally began to assemble the plates onto the Vans. Somewhere along the way, I tried to do something with an X-Acto knife and ended up stabbing myself really deep in the palm, so that's why there's tape and bandage in my right hand for the next few clips. Don't worry, I am okay. After I screwed the plate onto the shoe, I reassembled the pieces of the trucks that I took apart earlier, and finally I put the jam plugs on, screwed the wheels in, laced them up, and put them on. So this is what they look like. It took me all freaking day with the help of my sister. This is what it looks like, and I'm about to test them out real quick, maybe do some dribbles.
1 week later.
So it's been exactly a week since I built those roller skates, and we're back because we ran into some issues. I tried to skate on the Vans a few days ago and it just needed some work. Like I said last week, the aluminum insole just was not working inside the shoe. It was way too big to fit well inside the shoe. It didn't completely lay flat. It's just way too tight of a fit, and the aluminum insole, when I step in it, goes down. When I apply different pressure, or you know, when I'm skating, the aluminum plate kind of just goes up and down like this because it doesn't fit well inside the shoe. So what I'm going to try to do today is shave off the sides of the aluminum plate, and I'm going to try to make it smaller so it fits better inside. And another issue that I ran into is when I went back to Home Depot to get the 1.5 inch screws, I didn't realize how long they were, and I'll put a picture up right here, but they are like millimeters away from touching the wheel, which is so dangerous if you're skating because it'll stop the wheel from moving. So I went back to Home Depot the other day and I got 1-inch screws. The last time I went to Home Depot, I bought the 3/4 inch screws, and then I decided to go for the 1.5 inch the second time I went to Home Depot. So the third time I decided to get the 1-inch screws. I know a lot of you are probably laughing at my struggles, but you know, I am learning as I go. I did not intend for this project to give me so many difficulties. I really underestimated the work that was supposed to go into this project. Learn from my mistakes and either watch a tutorial video, do your research, or just pay a local skate shop to do this for you, because this
has been driving me crazy.
I'm confident that I'll fix everything today, and so I never need to touch the plates and the hardware and all that stuff again, and I can just skate on the skates. Keeping my fingers crossed for myself because I don't want to work on this anymore. I am tired of working on this project. In order to fix the issue I was having with the insole, I had to use this electric sander machine thingy to file down the aluminum insoles. I did not go into this project thinking that I would need to use such machinery, but it had to be done, and I came out of it with all of my fingers still intact. And finally, for the last and final time, I reassembled the skates again. The new 1-inch screws ended up fitting perfectly too. Shout out to my skate pals Mike and Lizzie for helping me figure out how to fix my skates and suggesting that I use Loctite to seal the screws in place. I think that's going to conclude this video. If you have any questions about this, I'll try my best to answer everything in the comments. If you want to follow along and see how these skates hold up as I continue to skate on them, feel free to follow my skate Instagram page. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you all so much for following this chaotic, messy day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!